You know the feeling. Waking up with your battery already flashing red. A continuous, unrelenting bombardment of texts, emails, and demands draining your mind before your feet even hit the floor. Mainstream digital minimalism tells you to delete an app or silence a group chat, but these are passive fixes. They treat the symptoms of a distracted life without addressing the structural vulnerability of your attention. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does your attention. When you clear one distraction without building a boundary, your brain reflexively scans the horizon for the next source of friction to process. The bandwidth vacuum means that without a plan, noise always expands to fill the available space. To stop this, you need active cognitive filters. You must intercept and neutralize demands miles before they ever reach your subconscious. You build an architecture of protection. You lock 4 rigid spheres of defense around your time, your energy, and your attention. Mental survival requires moving beyond being a target. You have to build a fortress that you actively defend every hour of the day. The outermost threat is the global noise. It is the 24-hour outrage cycle, begging for your unearned emotional investment at every single refresh. This creates outrage fatigue. You bleed bandwidth, stressing over distant crises, yielding exactly 0 return on your emotional investment. We stop this with Sphere 1, the outrage filter. This filter operates on a strict 48-hour parameter. If a headline or event cannot be directly influenced by your actions within 2 days, it is instantly dismissed. Block it out completely. With the macro noise blocked, the attacks get intimate. The sudden texts from a colleague, the quick favors from a friend. We fail here because of the people-pleaser reflex. We are hardwired to be helpful on demand. This reflex bypasses your rational logic entirely. It tricks your brain into accepting heavy burdens you physically do not have the time to carry. That brings us to Sphere 2, the 5-second response delay. When the request hits, you mandate a 5-second internal pause. This artificial gap breaks the reflex. Then you deploy a scheduling excuse. Let me check my calendar. By injecting a microscopic delay, you rip the timeline control away from the requester. The power moves immediately back to you. Pushing back creates friction. When you start saying no, people will test your boundaries. This logic tree shows the long excuse trap. Every reason you give for saying no just creates a blueprint for negotiation. You are handing them the counter-arguments. Enter Sphere 3, the no justification boundary. You deliver a clean, polite negative response. I can't commit to this right now. And then you follow it with absolute, uncompromising silence. The final attack vector is spatial. It is the contamination bleeding from your professional stress right into your personal sanctuary. We block this with Sphere 4, the post-work transition walk, a mandatory physical barrier stopping lingering anxiety at the door. You execute a non-negotiable 10-minute walk around the block. It functions as a psychological commute to wash off the dirt of the workday. Establishing a rigid physical boundary is the only way to solidify a mental one. You stop external chaos before it ever crosses into your internal peace. When the outrage filter saves your emotional energy and the response delay preserves your calendar, you stop entering your work in a state of cognitive debt. These 4 layers create a compounding effect. The more noise you filter out, the more mental capacity you have to maintain the boundaries themselves. You move from being a victim of external demands to someone who dictates their own time. This is the practice of ruthless curation. By hardening the entry points to your life, you treat your attention as a finite, high-value asset. This curation preserves the cognitive stamina required to finish a difficult project or engage deeply with your family, rather than giving those priorities whatever scraps of focus are left at the end of a chaotic day. Deploy these filters now. Start with the 48-hour rule and the 5-second pause. Stop the leakage and take back control of your focus from a world that isn't going to give it back voluntarily.